All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's everybody doing? I want to see some fire in the chat. Let's get some energy going. Let's get fired up. Welcome to Gap Mastermind. This is a special session, the roundtable. This is a new session that we're introducing here, which is going to happen once a month, where we're going to get together, all of us as a collective, and just discuss hot topics that are happening in the industry, that are happening in our business, that are going to elevate us farther. So I'm super excited for this one today because there's nothing better than sitting down, round table, and just talking and discussing. This is not about making necessarily predictions of the future or things that ultimately have legal ramifications. Like one of the hot topics is the exclusives, and are they going to get regulated? Are they going to change the industry? Listing exclusives is when a brokerage decides to keep listings away from the MLS, away from the portals. All right, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about AI and the future of lead generation through AI. That's moving very, very rapidly, very, very quickly. And also, we're going to talk about growth and tracking and what metrics should you be looking at in your business on a weekly basis to make sure you have your key performance indicators that, when monitored and improved, move everything forward. So I say we just dive in and get it started. And, I want to get engagement from the audience. If you want us to start discussing topic number one, put a one in the chat, exclusives. If you want to talk about topic number two first, AI, just put a number two in the chat. And then number three, key performance indicators, metrics, put a number three in the chat. Let me see what we got. We got one, we got two. Let's see more energy. 3, 2, 1. Love it. Let's go, Narda. Number two, Alejandro. Let's go. I want to see more. Oh, two is leading. It looks like two is a winner. People want to know how to generate leads with AI. All right. Let's start there. Let's have a discussion. And this is moving really, really rapidly and a lot going on now. You guys, I want to hear from Alejandro first, because he says he was very adamant. He was one of the first ones that says, I want to know about this. Why is this important to you? What have you seen so far? And just let us know your thoughts. So if you can unmute yourself and come in here, and then obviously we have Rebecca, Veronica, Bobby, and Beans, who also will be jumping in here, and we're gonna talk and discuss roundtable.
Hey, Carlos, yeah, thank you for letting me speak today and having this great meeting. Well, the AI is really the present. It's not more the future. I use ChatGPT, Lovable, but I get it for like basic stuff, really like scripts or maybe land pages. So I want to see what everybody's doing to get leads and to actually close them, um, instead of just trying to figure out myself, since you guys do a high volume and bring so much value to all of us. Thank you.
Love it. Very good. So you've been leveraging Lovable to create landing pages. You've been leveraging ChatGPT, and your question is like, hey, how do we take this and generate actual leads? All right. So guys, from the group, from the audience, who's already doing the Vince? Go ahead.
All right. So we all have people in our databases, right? People that we've been nurturing and trying to get them to act. A lot of these guys, we're calling our expires, we're calling our for sale by owners, and we're pulling them into our database. So we have their contact information and we have their address. Well, my CRM just turned something on for us that's really cool, that leverages AI. I wanted to put it in front of you. I use Brivity, but I don't know if some of these other CRMs have this set up, but we're able to see real-time status changes on any of the addresses that we have in our database. So if any of these guys turn from active to expired, we get notified right away. Well, they just added another feature where we're able to automate flyers, mailers being sent out to just those people. So as soon as they go from, let's say we weren't able to pick up the for sale by owner, let's say we weren't able to pick up the expired, but we've been dripping on these guys. They're getting our market reports, they're getting updates from us, they're seeing our faces and things like that. Now I could switch on a button and they'll automatically receive flyers as soon as they go off market, as soon as they expire. And so I think that's an incredible use of AI. It allows us to now reach out to them, and now it's a warmer call because they're already seeing our brand for so long, right? For the last 6 months that they've been listed with the other guy, they've been seeing our brand over and over. So it should be a warmer lead for us. I always say that it's way better to have one of these leads that you've been nurturing for the last 6 months as opposed to a brand new lead that just comes across the table.
Love it. So basically, everybody should be talking to their CRM and see what plugins are there available with AI for augmenting their database and even marketing to their database is basically what you're doing, right, Vince?
Yep.
Excellent, excellent, very good. So anybody else, leveraging AI and doing stuff like this, like automated marketing and whatnot? Raise your hand and let us know. Narda, go ahead.
So I'm part of the AI certificate here in Orlando with you. We're using a lot of AI, not just to leverage the at the moment that we presented or something, but we also practice it on the phone, get us the scripts and practice with our AI constantly to make phone calls. So maybe in open houses, we ask the AI to create different questions and we interact with them very often. It's a new item that come out in ChatGPT, for instance, but also we're using for presentations because we all different on the team. So I'm especially in investment, so I do presentation for investors according what they're looking for, long-term, short-term, different presentations, so I can align with them. So we're using for a little more than that. We're practicing a lot with AI. I'm particular, don't give them all the numbers by AI. I do my own numbers. I love AI, but there is a limit that I trust myself better to provide my input. But yes, I'm teaching and learning from my AI constantly.
Love it, love it. So you're basically using AI to sharpen your skills, your different presentations, and make sure you convert at a higher level. I think everybody should be doing that. I mean, like it's incredible what you can do now with AI, and ChatGPT can even see what's in front of you too. So it's really, really awesome. Like you can even go in front of ChatGPT and say, "Hey, do you think what I'm wearing is good to go into a listing appointment, or should I, put a jacket on, look more professional, sharper, like you can even go as far as that." So if you guys haven't been doing that, test it out. It's pretty badass. All
What I'm
right,
doing
cool.
lately is asking, like, have a conversation with clients and put it in AI, a screenshot, and see what personality come out, and then have a questionnaire previous to me, the person released by AI. So I have ideas what this person is gonna answer, question me. So I'm ready for that, and a lot of scripts practices too.
Excellent, very good. Now, there's something that I think is the first step in making sure we're leveraging AI to generate leads and prepare and optimize ourselves for the future, and that is making sure we're found on AI. So, has anybody optimized their business already, and what steps did you take to make sure AI like ChatGPT finds you and recommends you to people that are searching? All right. Anybody has done that?
So Josh and I are currently working on that right now.
Mhm.
We're working together with Agent Image, who is creating our SEO package, but it's going to be optimized for AI as well. So it's still not quite in action, but it's something that we're working on, and we're super excited about that because we know that this is an era where most people, instead of Google searching for the local realtor in their area, they're going to ChatGPT. So you have to make sure that you are searchable on all AI platforms. So your keywords have to be right there. And so there's a lot of work that goes in there. So we have a team that's helping us with that.
Very good, very good. And if you go to answerthepublic.com, it already shows you what people are searching in AI. And I drilled it down to like the local market. You can see what people in your local market are actually searching. And then the key is to make sure that you're optimizing your presence, whether it's social media, whether it's your website, with those keywords. It's the same game we've always been playing. It's just a little bit different because now the AI algorithms are the ones picking up that information. So step one should be answer the public, find out what people are searching, or your own keywords that you want to be found for. So if you're going to write that down, hey, what are people searching, or what do I want to be found for? And then going into the different AI engines like ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, and what comes up when people search in those different engines, right? Or bots. So doesn't matter if Veronica comes up, which she probably will, just one of the top teams in the market for me, for example. If I'm looking, she doesn't even have to try. She'll pop up number one. But if she comes up, I'm like, okay, how do I hang out with Veronica and show up right there where she's at? What she's up to? What is she doing? And those are some of the things that will bring up your awareness of what needs to happen too. Who is showing up, and analyze them. Go and check them out. Like, what is it that they have? Do they have a lot of reviews? Do they have optimization on their website? Find out if somebody's already showing up, why are they showing up? And what do you need to do to show up for your keywords? And keywords, are different for everybody. So that's something that I would encourage everybody to do there.
Yeah, Carlos, I'll kind of chime in on that. Obviously, my avatar is an agent to join a team, and very much like Vince and yourself, right? We're always looking for talent to join and partner with. So that's important to me, like on ChatGPT, AGO, right? To make sure that we show up. And I was just at the AI Summit 2 weeks ago, and I signed up for their Ignite program just to kind of really learn more about how we can show up as people search for what's important to them in their career. Like if an agent was saying, okay, I want to join a team, what are the top 5 teams in my area that I should join if they have, structure, leads, coaching, et cetera, right? I want to know who's my competition, just like you just said, right? Like we don't show up number 1, right? But we show up maybe number 2. I don't know, ChatGPT just says I'm in it because they know I'm the owner, it's my account. They're trying to make me feel good, but I like that I'm not number 1. I like that it's showing me that I'm not ranking as first. I know who my competition is, and it gives me a little something to strive for. But it actually does categorize me with, I would say, teams that are similar to ours. We're a high volume team. It's a place where you can jumpstart your career. You're gonna get, we're a flex team. We have a strong infrastructure, at least I'm proud to, I believe we do, system, scale, operations. So it's not giving me fluff, it's putting me in the right category, but it's also not making me number 1 where I'm like, oh, what do I need to improve? Is it our SEO? The team that actually is number 1 has more reviews than us, right? Maybe it's the reviews. I'm still studying all of this so that I know, because that's what my avatar is. Like, how can I reach more agents? And we're actually leaning into a more, which we'll talk a little bit about this, we talked earlier, is like a listing centric team, right? Like my job right now, Vince, is I'm calling agents who I want to join my team who already have experience with listings. Why? Because as we talk a little bit more about being a listing generated, listing focused team, I'm going to go and recruit agents who I know have a little bit of listing experience, but I think they would be so much more powerful if they joined our team, and we can support them, build a moat around them, and help them go get, 50 more listings a year, right? And help them. So like, I'm excited about AI. Another thing that we use in our world, that for those of you who don't have Brivity, we're using Fellow to help us identify business that has been neglected in our database, like listings that are scored. They're being scored of like, hey, this is a listing that you neglect, or a seller lead that you should call. They haven't listed yet, or they did list and it expired, very much like what Vince said, but it gives it a rating on this person had a life change event. You should call them. They've been in your database for X amount of time. You have this amount of potential GCI waiting for you to generate. Also, it tells me we lost $1 million in GCI. It helps us identify where the missed opportunities are. So that's a coaching opportunity, right? That's a coaching opportunity for us to say, like, why didn't we get the listing? Why didn't we get the listing? Did we not offer a cash offer? Did we not, were we not the best agent at the listing appointment? What was the reason? Sometimes they list with their mother, their father, their friend, whatever the case might be, but what was the real reason we didn't get that listing? And then if the listing didn't sell, now we have another conversation we can enter into. So we're leveraging Fellow. I just looked on my dashboard. We have about $980,000 in GCI right now that we have the potential to go after. So, it's real data that helps us make informed decisions. And another tool that we utilize on the team is Shiloh. I use that from a coaching aspect so that when an agent is when we're coaching them on conversations, how the conversation can improve. It's like a coach in their pocket, right? Just basically saying, like, that was a great call, Vince. Next time, just try to change these subtle words, or next time ask for the appointment here, or you missed the opportunity to ask for the appointment. So it really gives them an opportunity to improve their communication skills. So I just think
Veronica,
it's
does that
super fun.
work on live calls, or is that an AI bot?
It works on live calls if you're using your follow-up boss number. So we have it integrated with our follow-up boss number.
Okay. And that's
Fire.
Silo?
Shiloh.
Shiloh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shiloh, Fellow, right? Doing the homework on ChatGPT like Veronica just did, and making sure that you guys are seeing who your competitors are that are coming up for your avatar, for your keyword. So great stuff there from Veronica. Gino, I see you there. This guy's a marketing genius, so let's put him into the fire. And we're talking about AI lead generation, right? So what are you seeing out there that's helping agents generate leads with AI?
It's funny because I was just texting Rebecca. I was like, I think I might have something for this. So a lot of the agents that I talk to, especially like newer agents that are looking to, just generate new business, right? That's what everyone struggles with. I think with the AI and AEO, SEO optimization, I think the biggest thing, if you guys know me, like, I'm all about social media and marketing and branding and things like that. So the content that you create, you may be asking yourself, how do I show up on a platform like ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever the case is, right? And a lot of that has to do with the content that you're sharing on online in general. So you just need to make sure that you're optimizing for these for these engines, right? For the ChatGPTs of the world. So there's actually a prompt here that my good friend Nick Krem actually shared with me. I want to just continue to share it because it's really resourceful and it saves you a lot of time from having to know, what do I need, like what type of content should I be creating, what should I be posting, and you just want to make sure that it's being effective to show up on the social media platform. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it in here. But what this does is pretty much a quick prompt that you can drop inside of your ChatGPT or inside of Gemini. And it pretty much says, hey, every morning I want you to, or every Monday morning at 8 a.m., I want you to send me an email with the following, right? Create a task. And it's going to send you, if you guys open up the document, it's going to show you the core identity of who you're going after, the primary objective. There is AEO optimized answers, questions, what keywords are friendly for SEO and for the social media platforms. So it pretty much gives me the exact template on what exactly I should be talking about, what blogs I should be creating on my website. So all this information, when you're displaying it on social media, whether that's Instagram or even inside of your blogs, that's the most easiest, I want to say, like, the most effective way for you to get you to show up on these platforms is utilizing your current website and just creating multiple blogs that are optimized for AEO, that are optimized for the chat GPTs. That allows you to continue to show up because they're grabbing all that information that's public. So I think it's just a matter of you guys doubling down on the content that you're posting. If you post something on Instagram, let's grab the audio and create a podcast from it, or transcribe it and just create a blog from it. But obviously, you want to make sure it's being optimized for AEO. So this prompt, every Monday morning, I get an email from ChatGPT and it tells me exactly the key questions I should be asking the today buyer and seller, right? So and same thing for agent attraction, if you guys wanted to go into that. But this has been a game changer. A lot of the agents, they just don't know where to get started when it comes to creating content or how they can generate business. And this is an easy way for you guys to not only create content and position yourself branding wise online, but you're almost knocking out 2-3 birds with one stone. So that's my biggest tip. And there's obviously Lovable and things like that you can kind of create. If you wanted to go deeper into that, you can grab Lovable and create a blog series, create the landing page inside of Lovable and just start, posting. And there's just so much that you can do with it. But this is probably the easiest way for you guys just to get started with optimizing your current content now to show up on these search search engines.
Love it, love it, love it. Now, here's the thing, guys, because obviously we're talking about new things that we all need to be thinking about, like how do we show up with these engines? But the power of AI is how do we refine what we're already doing as well? Because we're here to elevate our business just one little micro improvement at a time. So like Veronica said, sharpening with AI, right? Like Narda also said it. How do you role play? How do you listen to your calls? How do you get better? When you're looking at your business, what is your number one pillar? What is strong for you currently? What's working for you right now? And how do you make it better? How do you elevate it? Is it by adding addresses and sending postcards like Vince is doing? Is it by just sending better follow-ups, better content? Is it by posting more and aligning more with the avatar that you want to attract? So those are the things that you should be thinking about. This is not about earth-shattering, my whole business needs to change. This is about, hey, how do I elevate what I'm already doing? How do I leverage AI to do it better, faster, and multiply it, scale it even bigger? Because I think that's really what it all boils down to.
Carlos, I think one of the things I just dropped in some of my favorite tools on my website. I dropped the link there for Fixer. I'm pretty simple, guys. I don't need any extra work in my life. So I'm not trying to go out there and conquer the world with becoming some AI genius, but I'm like, okay, how can it simplify my life? Email is a nightmare for me. I can't stand email. So I really do leverage Fixer AI, and we get that actually if you're a capper at the company, you get that for free. And an icon, I believe you get it for free. So if you guys aren't taking advantage of that, it just helps you stay organized. So email is really important. The other thing is, oh, somebody needs to mute themselves. And then the other thing I put on there was Land Voice, which helps you make intelligent decisions on how to find sellers as well. But somebody said, how do you email yourself? That's actually really cool that they asked that question. I get my morning gratitude and my morning prayer sent to me every morning that like like me and my ChatGPT, we have this weird relationship. But like you can literally tell it to email you your task, everything that you're working, what you're trying to accomplish that week. It can be your hype buddy, like also if you need to just, again, practice your scripting and your role playing, like simplify your life. This shouldn't be to make you feel like you had to learn something that's gonna totally, like Carlos said, blow up your world. But think about this also as if you're not working with listings, which I know we talked about listings. If you're working with a buyer who can't see what is possible in the home, have your AI app ready to go, whatever your designing app might be. I have one here that I am having such a blast because I like to redesign properties. I'm using Deck AI. It's super simple. I don't know. I paid for it. Maybe I'm a sucker. Maybe it's a free version, but I actually have an AI app that allows me to look at a room and see what's possible with that room. So if I was showing buyers who have no imagination or just can't, see what you could do with that area right there on the listing, right there at the listing, I would be saying, oh my God, this is such a cute little area. And they're like, I don't know what I would do with it. I'm like, oh girl, let's take a picture of it. What's your style? What's your, you could do a wine room here. You could do a nook here. You could do a little desk work area. Like if I were showing buyers right now, that would be one of my number one tools that I would geek out with at the listing. At the showing, I would say, oh my gosh, it's okay that it's bare. Let me show you what's possible. Let me show you what you could do with this room and make them fall in love with the room in that moment. Same thing at a listing. I'm like, oh no, we'll go ahead. You don't have the budget right now to remodel. I could sell this vision to a buyer, not a problem. And then we could do some sort of rendition. So like little tools like that can make a world of difference for you to look like the superhero.
Boom, 100. Like, guys, once again, this is about improving, right? This is about adding. This is not about you changing the game in one day. So write some notes. We're gonna go to Bobby also because he has been pretty quiet. I know he's been geeking out on AI as well. And then we're gonna have him also take us to the next topic, which is tracking. And obviously, Bobby being a coach, and I love his analogies of playing a game, and he's always looking at gameplay and whatnot. So I'm excited to hear what he has to say on tracking and what numbers we should be looking at on a weekly basis for our business. So Bobby, let's go.
Absolutely. So I think we've talked enough about AI, but I will just say this, that, leverage AI to communicate better to clients so that you can convert more clients that you're already talking to. So like I don't any complex email, any complex response, you need to be talking to your chat GPT before you go in there and just give a short little email or whatever, because you're wasting these opportunities to impress. So I'll give you an example. Like I had a commercial client that wanted me to analyze some properties for him, and I was able to do that very, very quickly and put together something. But here's a pro tip I'll leave you with. Somebody told me, hey, before you send it over to this person, pull up their profile on LinkedIn, drop it in a chat GPT, and then tell chat GPT to write this email based on their personality style so that you can have that conversion that you want, right? And it's just this one little extra little step that happened. And I did that. And the guy said, I want to put a contract in, right? So I'm like, man, I could have just sent a quick email or, trying to do a little recap, whatever the case may be. But like, use this to be a master communicator, right? To figure out. Another agent was asking like, oh, I'm going to go meet with this person, and I was like, okay, well, it was like an investor. I was like, well, here's the investor question you should ask, but you should ask ChatGPT too. Like, you should come into that meeting with a list of questions. Maybe even say do it in Chris Voss, the master negotiator style, right? So you can do things like that and come in there and you just seem like a superhero, but you prep. And also saving myself time on stuff. Like another way to help you convert more is to save time on things that waste your time, right? Or moving something to the next step. For instance, I have this guy who's trying to send me over this deal, and he's got very wishy-washy information. He sent me like one PDF document and a whole bunch of crap in an email. So I just dump it all into ChatGPT, and I'm like, and I talk to it and I say, hey, listen, I think he wants me to try to do this. I can probably help him with commercial lending. He looks like he's also looking for an investor. I need you to plug in the holes here and ask him the questions that I need to, and then write an email to Anthony. Instead of me like spending hours trying to decipher what he gave me, I'm like, no. I'm gonna have ChatGPT tell him to give me more clarity because I'm not spending 2 hours on this because it might be nothing, right? So be thinking about time management. Um, you know, as far as tracking is concerned, there's something that I've been saying to myself this past year, which is in the absence of a plan, a simple plan is revolutionary. So So, in other words, if you aren't keeping the metrics, if you're not doing something, don't think that you have to figure out how to learn brevity, fellow, whatever. You need a simple plan that you can stick to, just like working out, right? If you decide, oh man, I really want to get in shape, I work out 7 days a week and I'm going to go here, I'm going to do that, and then you'll quit by week 2. But what I would say is track the things that are the most important things in your business. For me, because I'm currently building out a division for commercial lending for a company, I'm focusing on key contacts, people who can send me a lot of deals at one time and high quality deals. So an example of that in my world would be somebody who was a residential loan officer that didn't do commercial loans, or a mortgage brokerage business owner that wants to be kind of at the head of that and wants to get referral fees on commercial loans because they don't do them. So my metric is, hey, I've got to connect with at least 5 people like that a week. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but one connection can change everything. And that's how I've built my whole career has been based on relationships. And that's what I enjoy the most. So for me, that's a big metric. But the main point being that if you're not tracking anything, just start with a few things that you can start to measure and be consistent on, versus going from 0 to 1,000 and trying to learn a massive program, or be more like crazy organized when you're not that way.
Love it. Love it. So when you look at a simple plan, right, you're looking at obviously a goal of accomplishing something, right? So in your case, you're accomplishing growing this mortgage. So are you tracking contacts to mortgage lenders, like the residential lenders, or like how are you tracking that goal on a daily basis or weekly basis? Really is what we're focusing on, not necessarily daily.
Yeah, well, I have my list ready starting the week, and I've already got people identified. The cool thing about what I'm doing right now is and most of you guys are like this. You've already got the network. Like, you just have to look at your network and be like, how many loan officers have tried to get business from me in the past, how many years? Like, these are people that are already in my database, but maybe I just need to contact them. So having that list ready prior to the beginning of the week and just saying, I'm gonna knock these 5 out. I'm gonna make sure, or meet somebody in person. And that's what like I said, I built my business that way. I built my business on relationships, and somehow God always provides. So, to me, it's staying on that steady track of conversion. When I was running a team, obviously we were tracking things like conversations. How many conversations did you have? Because we know conversations are going to lead to a potential lead. But for me personally, that's what I'm focusing on right now.
Very good. So there's something called the keystone habit, like the one thing, and I think that's kind of what Bobby is saying here. Like, what is the one thing, the one habit that moves the needle for everything else, right? So in his example of connections, relationships, that's super simple, but he knows I get into contact with people, magic happens, right? God provides, but really he's taking his action too. He's helping God help him. Same with the conversations, right? The team. Hey, as long as we track conversations, like who here, if you increase your conversations and that's the only thing you tracked weekly, your business would grow. Like who can attest to that? Like if you just focus on more conversations, let me see a 1 in the chat. If you increase the level of conversations, put a 1 in the chat. If you know that one thing, just one habit, would improve your business. And that's what this tracking is all about. Now, obviously, we can all have dashboards and track 20 different metrics and different things and overcomplicate. But I love the mindset of simplicity. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Who else has something to add on this topic of tracking? From the audience, come on, guys. I mean, what are you guys doing out there? Like, what for your business? What is something that you track? Like, Vincent, go ahead.
All right, Carlos, I'll share something. I'll actually share my screen because it's kind of a lot. Let me see. So this is something that we put together for our members, and we send it to them every month. Okay, and it's a heavy lift for the team, but it's really good for the members. And we pretty much feel like there's so much opportunity within your database that we're not tapping into. People will put things in and they'll work it, but they don't know really where they stand on each one of these topics. So we're putting down, hey, how many people do you have down as new in your database, and how many have not received calls? Okay, and we're tracking it from 1 month to the next, and we'll give them these reports. And what's cool is that we'll put the links. Everything in blue is a clickable link that pulls them back into their database, so they could work specifically on that topic, right? So if they say, okay, I've got these many people that were labeled as hot, but they didn't receive a call from me in the last 30 days, I could click on that and call just those people. And so I'll send these out to all the team members, and from 1 month to the next, I'll see them improve on a number of different categories.
Beautiful. I absolutely love that. So you're basically running that for them, sending it to them, and having it all ready. Perfect. We have something similar now. I have my team do it themselves, so a little bit more manual for them, but it is their business. So they submit a Google form every week, and the Google form tracks, okay, how many leads in the database that are, hot, how many did you pick up new, how many contracts and stuff like that, and then gives them a score. So this works. I've done this for many, many years. So in your business, are you doing that? If you're a single agent or if you're a team leader, are you holding your agents accountable to the key performance indicators, right? So, what happens, Vince, when things are low? Do you coach them? Do you, bring them up and tell them, hey, maybe here or there?
Yeah, obviously we could give them insight onto one specific thing. Hey, we think you should work on this. But a lot of times we say, hey, pick and choose, pick two or three that you want to work on to improve from 1 month to the next. Let us know which ones those are, and then we'll pay attention to them as well. If you need any guidance or coaching around it, we're happy to help you. But at least they see where the opportunities are. Because a lot of times the database is just one big blob, and what we do is we kind of separate it out so it's a little bit more understandable.
Absolutely. Yeah, the way that I like to look at that is, if you open a restaurant, right? And you're happy, sales are happening and whatnot, which is what happens with us as agents. Sometimes we just go and sell houses. That's it. And then we're not tracking, how many customers are coming in, how many are actually converting, how happy they are, the customer satisfaction. Eventually, we get busy and we forget, and then the business drops. And that's why we end up with a roller coaster of a business. So by tracking, and by the way, tracking is like the cash register. Hey, how much did I spend? How much money did I make? How much, do I need to invest to continue to grow the restaurant, right? And if you're not tracking, you're basically just running on an undisciplined business, a business that you can't improve. You can't improve what you don't measure. Okay? Who would own a business or a restaurant without knowing how much money did you have at the beginning and how much at the end? Who would run a business without knowing that you're running out of food and you need to have more food coming in? So those are the things that you guys need to be thinking about for your business, and understand that this is important. It's not just about doing the next deal. Who else wants to chime in?
Carlos, I'll chime in real quick. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're back. Yeah.
I know I'm freezing up. I'm gonna try to get a charger while I'm talking to you guys real quick. And if I end up getting disconnected, I'll come back on. But let me know if you could see my screen. This is just a snapshot, guys, and this is my request to all of you is, like Carlos said, do you know your business? What are you doing? Like last week, we executed 30 contracts on the team. I know who made calls. I know who's got a contract. I know who's got something pending. When I look at this, all I want to do is make high-level decisions. But you guys could be the CEO of your own business by really knowing, A, what are your lead sources, like Carlos says, and then you can make informed decisions, as he said, but what are you tracking it on? I don't care if it's an Excel spreadsheet, but like when I hear agents say, oh, my business comes from repeat and referral business, what I sometimes think is that they don't track their business and they don't know what their true source is. They don't know the true source of, is it repeat and referral business from a business that you met at, the BNI group, or is it because you go out there and have community events and you consider it a sphere? Like, where's your business coming from? And then are you able to make informed decisions? Do you know, are you on track? Did you set goals? I live in Sisu. But I'm just asking you guys to what is your source of truth right now? If you had to be honest with yourself, what is your source of truth? Do you know where your business comes from? And can you make real business decisions based on that source of truth? And waiting for someone to send you a referral is not a source of truth. And does your calendar match the activities that you basically the goals that you're trying to build? So for us, I'm like, okay, I have a goal of reducing our leads dependency and increasing our sphere business. But I can make informed decisions based on that, based on the activities that I see in our database. So I just wanted to show you guys kind of like what I look at from a team leader perspective and what I obsess on. And it's information that helps me make a decision. And I mean, I'm blown away by my team's activity this week. 30 contracts just this in the last 7 days executed, but we were intentional last month about what we wanted to do.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Now, you mentioned something very powerful there, and tracking begins with us. Calendar. What are you spending your time on? Right? Because if you're not doing dollar per hour activity, like go back to your calendar over the past week, few weeks. What were you up to? Right? And if you don't even remember anymore, track your next week. I love that Veronica brought that up because it begins with self-leadership and taking account for our hours. Narda was showing something here to me in the chat. I mean, you can unmute yourself, Narda, and if you want to post that in the public chat, that's perfectly fine, so that you can show them how you do it.
Yeah, hi. So I do have for being able to grow for the next level to be a team leader, I tracking myself my own expenses as well. I have Airbnbs. I also track the numbers for Airbnbs, what is the expense, what is coming, and my real estate business, which is PA. S corporation. So I track everything and I review every month to see where the expenses go. Sometimes, move from Airbnb to real estate to personal. And, that's how I adjust. I started doing from the beginning and I always adjust because, you always have some expenses in one area and then I'm very organized to get ready for my taxes of the year. So that's usually how I do my expenses. I'm very simple. Regarding the business itself, we have followables as well. So we track our how long we spend working with our clients making calls, and my assistant has her own track, how many people she's follow up and everything. So, I like to track every single move I do, even my time during the week.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, again, guys, you gotta track your business. Is there somebody that struggles with this and you want to be open about it and say, like, this is why this never works for me? Like, I always struggle because of that. Anybody, then we can help you and I mean, figure out, what is the struggle and maybe help you overcome if somebody is open to that and feels that way and feels like they start tracking and always get derailed. Giving you an opportunity to level up if that's you. All right, we got a volunteer. Go ahead.
Yep, Luz here. And
I think one of the questions was
market.
also, Carlos.
Oh, sorry, Veronica, go ahead.
Go.
Yeah,
No, Luz,
so
please go ahead. I think
thank you.
it's
Yeah, so
important. And then one of the things that
I'm a list person. I love lists. And so for tracking, it's like I'll create, maybe I'll create like a Google sheet for this, or I'll start tracking. I only just created my Sisu account last week, so I'm excited to actually plug into that and see what that's all about. But I find myself trying to track and launch like a good solid tracker. That's been my downfall, I guess.
All right. So what happens? You create a list, start using it. Walk me through what gets in the way.
Um, I mean, maybe just like a little bit of perfectionism, wanting to, I want a column for this, a column for that, and I want, you know, and it's maybe just, I call it realtor brain, where it's like, I want it to look a certain way. I want the number, I want things to be accurate. And if it's not, then I'm like, the next day, I'm like, I don't want to touch that right now because it's messy. So I'll open it later in the week, or.
Very good. And I can relate a lot. Everybody knows here I'm like a maniac when it comes to doing things right. I have a high C personality. But what I've learned is like what Bobby said, simple plan better than no plan, right? So what is that first iteration, right? Like the iPhone didn't have an app store when it launched. Still a world-class product. It was good, but it was simple, right? So going back to if you were to track just one thing that would move you a little bit farther, what would that one thing be? And you can make it nice, pretty. That's what I do. Like I like things that look good and seem world class, but I don't need to have 20 features just yet. I can launch with one main thing that is important to me that I know will help me, and then add to that. That's something that helps me. But ultimately, keeping it simple is better than not having anything at all. And I think a lot of people, I agree, realtor brain, we get scattered. If we make it overcomplicated, it gets hard, right? And if it's hard, we go and do what's fun and easy and what makes us feel like we're winning. So,
Carlos,
if you
can we
go
dive a little
through,
deeper into that? Can we
yeah,
dive a little deeper into that? Like, Lou,
yeah.
specifically, what areas right now would be the first area that you would need some help in, like, of tracking,
Mhm.
like, because you're speaking for people who maybe aren't speaking up. Like,
Yeah.
specifically, is there any area that you'd be the leader that you are willing to do a live, like, right, like, this is the area right now I need help with tracking? Is it your P&L? Is it your expenses? Is it your sources?
Probably those two would be priority. Yes. It would be my sources, my clients, my referrals come from a wide range of, you know, yes, past clients, business partners, but that's not all. It's not organized. So yes, when you were mentioning like where does your business come from? It comes from referrals. Okay, well, referrals from whom? So that piece that spoke to me, right?
So do
Um,
you have a CRM? What CRM do you use today?
I am still getting familiar with Lofty. That's in my transition. That's the one I chose, and I'm still getting to learn it.
Okay, so is it safe to say, and this is permission safe space, is it safe to say in the past you weren't tracking your business the way you realize now today you are going to, you're committed to that, we're here to help you. And this now CRM, you're going to add your tags, right? Each lead that comes in, I don't care, and go back to your past clients, right? If you can go back 12 months, based on the amount, based on your capacity, right? Can you go 12 months and do it bite size, because you can't eat an elephant in one day, right? Bite size. The last 12 months, can you go back and say each lead source? Let's just assume that you're running a business that, let's say you close 40 deals or 30 deals. Safe to say, right? You're a top producer, you're a rock star, but let's just say it's 40, 30 deals. You can go back and look at those 30 deals and segment them and add a tag as to where they came from. This was a past client. This was a repeat client. This was someone that came from community events. You can go back and do that homework assignment just this week. If you commit to that, now you actually have made progress. You set the tags up for future, and now you went back and cleaned up that 12-month look back. Then, of course, as things, you have a lighter week, maybe you could say, I'm gonna go back 24 months because I have a little bit more, time now that everything's set up in the system. But if you can at least do that, now moving forward, the tags are already set up. So if you're going to live in Lofty, and by the way, this is universal for all of you guys, right? This is universal for any database that you have. So then when you're running your reports, it's going to show you that, okay, my referral business is coming from XYZ. I do broker referral, agent referral, EXP referral, Zillow referral, and I know which source. I don't bulk them all in because I need to make some important decisions on the referral fees that are also attached to the sources, which give me the best margin versus also which give me the most volume. So if you could actually segment your database based on the past relationships that you've had, that you have historic data to make a decision on, now moving forward, you could be a little bit more structured. One day at a time. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you just did that, that'll give you a little bit of room to breathe. You're like, okay, I can breathe. I look at mine and, guys, I'm willing to be transparent. Like, I'll show you my P&L. Like, I'm talking about, like, I'll break it down to where I look at everything from photography to signs to, what's costing me money, what referral sources are costing me money. Like, I'm willing to get down and dirty with you guys so you can see, like, we got to strip. Vince, I know, uses the same system. We get a report every month to know where are we spending our money on and what are the lead sources that are the best margins for us. Should we leave them? Should we not do it? Should we not work with them? Or is that creating more opportunity for expansion or recruits or, again? So as whatever level you're at in your business, information is powerful for you. It is really, really powerful. So if you look back, look at Narda, right? She tracks everything, right? It's going to help you speak to your accountant. It's going to help you make decisions. It's going to help you know if you should recruit to that lead source. So just go back and do a look back. It's going to require a little bit of homework, guys. That shit is not fun, right? But in order to move forward, we got to clean up our house. We got to do a little bit of cleanup. We got to purge a little bit. So I hope that helps. And Luz, I'm happy to hop on a separate call with you and help you. But segmenting is going to be so easy moving forward if you could just do the upfront homework, especially if you're starting
One
off.
thing that I wanted to ask is, do you have a transaction coordinator, Luz?
Not at this time.
Not at this time. All right.
Something I'd like to add, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like Veronica was saying, setting up those tags and then making sure you're tagging people, right? Now, also understanding why this is important to you and the growth of your business. I assume you're wanting to know where the past clients are coming from or the referrals so you can thank those people maybe or go deeper with them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know one of the things that I want to really do this year is give my past clients, well, all referrals, right, more love, right? Because I know that they referred to me at one point for a reason. How can I grow that referral business even more? So yeah, more client love, client appreciation. Yeah, so but I need to know exactly who those referring people are so that I can focus
Very
more on
good.
those.
So based on the conversation we just had, because again, this everybody can relate. So I just want to bring it home. How are you going to implement what you just learned and make it simple where you feel like you're going to be empowered to succeed and stick to it from here on out?
I think two things. I know for me, time blocking it, putting it actually on my calendar where I'm going to focus on the CRM, the tags, and start there with that piece. Um, and just lost my train of thought on the other, and keeping it simple. I tend to overcomplicate and overthink, it, and I really just I do. I need to bring it back. And like you said, maybe it's, just a couple of categories at first, but then there's time to make it pretty later on. So,
Love
yeah.
it. Very good. Well, thank you so much for jumping in here and letting us go through that, because there's a lot of people here that I'm sure struggle with the same. All right, so we're going to the next topic, and this is about exclusives, right? Listing exclusives. This is a hot topic in the industry because we're looking at an industry where brokerages are exploring, should we keep properties away from the portals, from the Zillow, the Realtor.coms? Is that valuable to the consumer? Is that valuable to the industry? So who's got some thoughts on that, questions, opinions, that wants to chime in and get us out of here? If not, I'll jump in, but yeah, I've been doing a lot of talking here. So just wondering if somebody, it's like, I'm passionate about this one. This is just like, no, like, all right.
Well, let's ask people, I think, let's start off with this. How many of you guys really understand what's going on in the market right now in the war between brokerages and the discussion of exclusives? Do you give me a 1 if you are familiar with it, you understand it, or a 2 if you're like, I have no idea what this means, and a 3 if you are just like, I really don't care. So 1 if you are familiar with it. 2, if you're like, I have no clue what this means. And 3, if you're like, I really don't, I haven't paid much attention to it or don't care. Okay, so we're getting a lot of 2s, Carlos, which makes me believe that people do not even understand or maybe haven't been as familiar with what this means, which Leo has spoken about this and will bring obviously a lot more awareness to the group. But on a high level, can you bring it home to them so that they understand what the discussion is and the battle of the brokerages?
Yes, absolutely. So, and Alejandro dropped it in the chat, right? So Compass kind of started this thing, and we believe as a brokerage, and Leo has been saying it time and time again, the best for the consumer is exposure. We all know that the more eyeballs on a listing, the best opportunity for that listing to sell faster and to get the most amount of money. We're super passionate about that. Is the right thing for the consumer. We're here to protect the relationship with the consumer and to bring them the most value. So when somebody talks about, no, we should keep the listings in my pocket for a little bit so that I can double in the commission, that doesn't seem right to me. When somebody tries to use their weight to move the market to that doesn't seem right to me. I look at markets like Puerto Rico, for example, Veronica, which you and I are very familiar with, and it's not the same. It's not the same. So many people taking advantage of. So many people just don't sell for the most amount of money. So many listings take longer to sell because they don't have the most exposure. So as leaders that we're here and as agents in this industry, we need to understand that first and foremost, we need to get more listings, because whoever has the inventory has the decision of what do we want to do that's right for the consumer. And secondly, we need to make sure we educate the clients properly on what's best for them, right? If a client sits down with you and asks like, hey, these guys are telling me that they have exclusive database of people that they promote to and they sell it outside of the MLS, and that's better for me, I would ask that customer, and I want you guys to ask that customer, like, hey, do you want 100 people to see that your property is on the market, or do you want 8 million people to see that your property is on the market? Well, I think I want 8 million, right? So any consumer will make the right decision, and you'll win the listing, because in the end, everybody wants more exposure because they're going to get a fair market and the right level of competition. So that's my take on it. As agents, we need to be educated in knowing that this is an ongoing discussion. A client might bring it up. And if a client brings it up, it's all about exposure, period, the end. Now, there's always the consumer, the client that says, hey, for privacy reasons, I don't want my property everywhere. Perfectly fine. We actually have a $90,000 network. It's called EXP Exclusives, where we can put the property in there privately and also promote it privately without violating any MLS regulations or anything like that. So we actually do have a solution for the consumer that wants privacy, that doesn't want their property out there. That's like the 0.01% probably. The celebrity, the politician or somebody that just wants their property off the market for whatever reason. So that's my take on that topic. If anybody else wants to say anything else as we wrap it up, there's a lot of noise, especially even the last few weeks. The noise intensified around it, and we believe the consumer is going to make the right call. The consumer is going to decide to work with agents that gives them the most exposure, no matter who is saying what or no matter what is being said out there. In the end, the consumer decides, and they will decide who is going to put my property in front of the most eyeballs. And that's opening the property up to the entire market.
Yeah, so I'd like to jump in. So I think that what's important here is the transparency that we have and disclosing to the consumer and letting them decide what's best for them. But when they don't know what that, and it's a decision that we've made for them, because let's say, agents want to double-end a deal. First of all, that's selfish. But second of all, I have literally watched properties take 2 years in other markets to sell, where you have a desperate person who needs that money from that sale, and that realtor doesn't want to list it in the MLS, for example, and be able to just sell among the community there. And it takes too long, and they don't get the top dollar either, or the market starts to go down and they lose their opportunity. This is not fair to the seller. We always have to be looking for the best interest of that seller. If the best interest is to put it in the MLS, that should be the standard. But again, the consumer should decide, and I believe that they'll decide fairly for themselves.
Rebecca, great point. Great point. And I want to bring up Jesper. Jesper is one of our top agents on our team. He just joined our team last year. Jesper is actually from Denmark. He was a top broker, leader, CEO, and a listing god. A listing, when I say that with respect, I don't mean to you guys know what I mean. Guru. And he understands the international market. And why we're bringing up international market, guys, we're prepared to pivot, but the majority of them actually look up to our system. So it does seem like we're going kind of backwards to even think. But Jesper, I know we're going a little bit over, but with your knowledge of how it is to operate in a different country, how listings, when they do not have the transparency that we have, what's it like? And what is the advice that you would have for an agent? You're on mute. You're muted. Hold on one second.
So Europe and Denmark and USA, it's very, very different coming to listings. So I specialized in listings, but it's you're gonna have so in Europe they call 3 or 4 brokers, and in Europe and most countries in Europe it's the double end. So there's no seller and buyer. There's what the brokers has both the seller and buyers. But anyway, so you call 4 brokers and they send 4 agents out. The best listing agent normally is the owner, to be honest. And then you have a 50% chance of winning the listing. And so that's really why you sharpen your hunting instinct. Are you a farmer or hunter? Because it's like a dog eat dog. So the best listing agent just wins. And it's not about the best price or the lowest price, because people are so clever that they know that listing the house is one of the absolutely most important financial decision for their life and the family. So where here in US, for instance, is by referral, 80% of repeat listers are by referral. But the same people, if they buy a car, television, they could spend 2 or 3 or 4 months, right? Going and checking several dealerships. But what do they do with a listing? They ask the colleague at work, hey, I saw you sold your house. Was it a good agent? Yeah, let me hook you up. Oh, and it's a slam dunk right there. So I have a plan and I'm preparing it big time to educate sellers here in Greater Orlando, because sellers here are missing so much money on listing, you would not believe it. And we all know about the quality of listing agents here. It's so depressing, right? So there is so much business to be had. And I'm going to do it with Veronica. because we're gonna kick ass with the listing because there are so much business to be had, and I have like a program with a seller school and stuff, almost ready to launch because sellers here they don't know. It's like the culture. They don't know what they're missing. I mean,
Yeah.
it goes from the curbside. How many listing agents talk about we could remove those scrubs, we could do this, we could plant some grass, we could paint your house like a little off white or something instead of dark brown. It would give most house could get $50,000 to $70,000 on just on the curbside appeal, right? We don't do it here, right? You know what I mean? So there's so much. I don't know if that was the question you asked, but that was what I
Yeah,
could
no,
come.
Jasper, I just want them to know that real estate is done differently abroad. And
Yeah.
if we end up going private listing, guys, it will require a whole nother level of mindset. And I think we have the right brokerage model, and we are prepared if we do have to go private listing to have an army of agents. Just get listing focused. If I could leave you with anything, is sharpen your listing game. Start getting fall in love with calling expireds too. Fall in love with calling expireds. Fall in love with being second. The first time they didn't list, the first time they listed, they didn't sell it. Fall in love with being okay with being that agent that comes around and say, I know why your home didn't sell. I said this to my team this morning on our morning huddle. You remember that movie called I Know What You Did Last Summer? Be that person that when you actually see the expired listings or you find the information, like go with the manila folder with a big old ugly Sharpie and say, I know why your home didn't sell. And inside, like have some really sexy collateral and some stuff to be like, let's set up a call because I know why it didn't sell. Kind of like a mystery movie. But like it's actually really cool. I'm excited to be number two every once in a while when it comes to this because I want them to make the mistake of overpricing, not choosing the right agent. I don't want them to, but if they do, they got to pay for that mistake, but I'm going to be there to help them. We're going to be there to help them. But anyways, I think we're a little bit over, which is exciting to see so many of you guys stay on. Did you guys like this format? And we're going to actually have a form where you guys could submit topics, but show us some love. Let us know if you enjoyed this. Give us a 1 or anything that you want to put in the chat if this was good. And if you want to have more conversations that are going to help move the needle for your business.
Yeah, look out for that link. It'll be emailed to you guys. Topics. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to discuss? What questions do you have? What burning issues are you seeing in your business? And we're going to keep elevating each other in GAP Mastermind. Thank you for joining us, guys. Everybody crushed it. Great job. And we'll see you in the next one.
Have a great week.